So recently I saw a video with the craziest title. It was about how AAA games have just all become trash. Oh God, I forgot. Anyway, the premise of this guy's video is how all AAA titles are now just money hungry trash, essentially. But the problem that I had with this guy's take was he was conflating a lot of different things in this video. He was conflating AAA games with third-party developers and any game that contains microtransactions, and like that, they're not all the same thing. They don't all enter the same realm. Now, while some video games, some third-party video games are, while some AAA games are made by third parties and do contain microtransactions or season passes or DLC, that has nothing to do with all AAA games becoming trash. I mean, God of War, a very big AAA game, the game that got Game of the Year at the Game Awards, which is really the only Game Awards that matters, because anybody who gave Fortnite Game of the Year is probably trash. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, God of War is a AAA game, has no microtransactions, has very little DLC. I mean, like, the most you get for DLC for that was pre-ordering or buying a collector's edition version of the game that netted you some extra armor pieces or something like that, some extra digital in-game stuff. But for the most part, that didn't happen. To a slight degree, Halo 5, the only microtransactions in that were for rec packs, which sure kind of went along with the loot box thing. However, those were all completely optional. You could get most of them aside from some very special edition ones, which, like, a lot of those had money go to other causes. And even still, in the beginning, the rec pack money went towards the Halo World Championship grand prize. But anyway, that game wasn't microtransaction chargy trash. So I don't know what this guy was trying to get at. I don't know why he thinks AAA means necessarily third party and filled with microtransactions. Now, let's be honest. Third party games, oh my gosh, AAA games do have quite a bit of an issue, right? Like, a lot of people say that AAA single player games aren't dying. And they're not necessarily dying. However, some people fail to realize that with those kind of games, a game that you spend years and years and years of development time on and perfection and polishing up those games cost money. And for the most part, make the developers, who for the most part are all first party developers, they make them very little money. Right? Like, there's not a lot of turnover in return on investment in those games. There's not a lot of return on investment in those games. And they're mostly just there to sell systems. I mean, a lot of people will say, single player games don't matter, or multiplayer games don't matter. But for the most part, you have to understand, like, the biggest games every year tend to not be single player games. Like, they might be the most fun. I meant to say the single player, the most important games or the biggest games are not exclusives. Nonetheless, a lot of those games, they're just there to sell consoles because people like those games. And once you sold that person that console to play that game, they're gonna go play something else. Like, no first party developer with maybe the exception of Nintendo, because they tend to do pretty well on their own. But as far as Sony and Microsoft are concerned, like, they're not trying to sell you their games. They're trying to sell you on the idea of buying into their ecosystem. They want that revenue, which was the reason that Sony was so big on not giving anybody crossplay, because it doesn't benefit them that you could be able to play any game, anywhere, anytime. They want your dollars. They need that third-party revenue to bring you in. Do you think if Sony really made that much on their first party stuff that they would really care? I'm pretty sure for the most part, if it were just for the games alone, they would lose money. You know how they make up all that money? Through like extra stuff, like ancillary stuff, like toys or anything else, any sort of other merchandise you can buy around those franchises. Anyway, this video is probably way too long and me just rambling in this rant. But anyway, no. I need people to understand language, okay? Like, you can't just make a statement, put it in your title, and that makes sense. Third-party games. Oh my God, now I'm doing it. AAA games are not dying or trash or whatever else this dude was trying to say. It was a stupid video, and I didn't even watch all of it because I realized I'm not giving this dude my money. I mean, I pay for YouTube Red, so yeah, I'm not giving that dude my money. I'm not giving this dude my money to say stupid stuff. What do I look like? Anyway, third-party games are fine. AAA games will be fine. There are a few, very, very few AAA studios who can make very decent AAA first-party narrative-driven games. That is such a mouthful. That actually do benefit them and make money. There are some who can't. Those games have to hit a very specific part of the cultural zeitgeist, and if it doesn't hit that niche, you know, if it doesn't reach that market, then, well, yeah, there would be reason to believe that those are failures. So for most AAA, geez, I cannot quit mixing these up. For most third-party developers, yeah, making a big title that has very little return on investment is not a great idea. That's not how their business models works. You know, like, you have to understand that the difference between a first-party title and a third-party title is most third-party titles are to be sold. Most first-party titles are there to bring customers into the ecosystem. That's pretty much about it, because not one of these third or first-party titles have sold what any of the major third-party titles have, even though they continue to be highly regarded and be, you know, Game of the Year, but they don't sell as well. They don't make as much money. That's what people don't understand. They conflate how well a game is reviewed or revered and think that means it made a lot of money. That's not how it works. That's never how anything works. So anyway, that's about it for today. And I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think down in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm okay, subscribe. I'm trying here. I'm going to continue to try to upload content and shape this channel to be exactly what I want it to be, but I don't know what I want it to be, so we'll figure it out as we go along. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, it's your boy Perfect Shogun. Keep gaming.